I've done a number of ride-alongs over several months, three to five ride-alongs a week for several months, as well as observations and central booking. And what's been really fascinating about that is that there was some data released a few months ago that from open records requests that revealed that Travis County led the nation in the deportation of non-criminal immigrants, and 82%, higher than other places like in Arizona, Maricopa County with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And so that really struck me, is how could a place like Austin or Travis County be deporting more non-criminal immigrants in a place like Arizona where there's open warfare against immigrant communities? So going into the research, I'm left with, I'm constantly struck with this paradox between these statistics and then the reality of what I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis. The cops are not anti-immigrant, they're not openly racist, they're not going out looking for immigrants to arrest for petty things so that they can get deported. I always ask the cops, whether it's on the enforcement side or the correction side, so tell me, how does secure communities work? How does the criminal alien program work? And they look at me with a blank stare, and they're like, secure communities, what is that? And I'm like, it's in effect here. Can you explain to me, like, how it works from point A to B to C? And I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, well, ICE, like ICE comes to the jail and then they take people, like, how does that process work, or what do you think about it? And the response is like, well, first off, we don't interrogate people about their immigration status. That's not relevant to our work. It's not important to our work. And what is important to our work is being able to identify their identity, to figure out who they are in a particular situation. But whether or not they're legal or illegal, like, that's not of relevance to us. And doing all the ride-alongs, all the different traffic stops, all the responses to domestic violence calls, I never once saw somebody's immigration status become an issue, and unless there was fear on the part of the people that the cops are dealing with. And then the cops dealt with it by saying, look, we don't care if you're undocumented. Like, we're not here, we're not part of La Migra, we're not ICE, like, we're not gonna get you, we're trying to help you, so talk to us. So what's happening in Travis County and the Austin area is a situation of people being deported, low-level offenders being deported, but they're not being deported on the part of any active efforts of law enforcement going out seeking to do that. And so that raises a lot of questions to be answered, and that's part of ongoing research. Some takeaway things that I could say right now is that law enforcement agencies are often at the center of public criticism, public misunderstanding. There's, in a climate of, mutual distrust between law enforcement with regards to organizers and activists towards law enforcement, that creates a scenario of a lot of polarization that tends to close down a lot of strategic options that could otherwise exist. The more that law enforcement can understand the concerns of immigrants, and the more that immigrants can understand the concerns of law enforcement, if there's a dialogue there, then there can be a mutual effort to come up with practical solutions that will benefit both sides of it. But if there's misunderstanding and systematic distrust, then that's going to create a lot of divisions that will make things difficult.